match, the loser into the bronze medal match, all to be contested here today. The weather conditions 100% better than they were 24 hours ago. It's adding to the atmosphere here on centre court. It's an amazing matchup, this American team. Dane, we'll talk more as the match unfolds, but John Hyden, the oldest, versus with Bourne, one of the younger guns from the United States of America. But it seems to be working. They have already beaten the Brazilians in pool play last Wednesday. Can they do it again?
Yeah, that's a big question. Whenever you play a team twice in a tournament, usually the team that lost the first one comes back and tries to get revenge because they are a little bit more motivated. We'll see if Evandro and Pedro bring that kind of energy today.
First point on the board for the United States of America, who won the toss. You can recognize John Hyden there, white hat backwards, red cap for his teammate Bourne. Here's Hyden with service. Evandro easily recognizable as the giant on court. Oh, Bourne almost got the block in there. Trading side outs in the early exchanges.
John Hyden's such a great player. He trains so hard. That's why he's been able to have such longevity and still playing this game at 43 years of age.
That is the secret weapon for the Brazilians. Evandro at the net. You can see for yourselves the height advantage that he has. His timing is also perfect with that block.
The Americans, they have to look out for two things. Number one, the service from Evandro, as well as the blocking expertise from both Evandro and Pedro. That time trying to go over on two just out of bounds. The Brazilians, that's how they score their points. Serving and blocking. It's kind of an experimental team. We've been talking about them for the last year. Two big blockers, not traditional defensive players. So that's where their weakness is. Look at that agility, though.
Line.
Good shot from Bourne. And an important point on the board for the United States of America. You called it perfectly there, Dane. He may be 6'11" or over 2'11", but he's agile for a tall player.
Yeah, and he keeps getting better. Every single time he walks on the court, he seems more comfortable. He's got beautiful hands in terms of setting, and he's starting to move. You know, having to play defense, that's forced him to get better.
Oh, good save from Bourne there. But Evandro has it all covered. Starting to find their rhythm nicely in the early exchanges of the first set here. The Brazilians in their traditional yellow and green vests.
Evandro at 6'11" gives him a good advantage. There's times when he doesn't even have to jump and he can hit that ball down with a lot of velocity.
Let's watch that serve carefully now that Dane was referring to. Evandro up and power. Ooh, almost takes the net out of the holding there. But when he gets it right, it is so difficult to return to.
Yeah, that's been the big knock against Evandro, his inconsistency. Sometimes when that serves on, you better look out because he's going to get runs of points. But when he is missing it, he is in trouble, and it makes the Brazilians struggle a lot more. So getting that serve consistent is a big thing that he's been trying to work on.
Here is Evandro. Big power play. He's got a superb arm swing. And that Brazil maintained their 2-point clear advantage at 5-3. Brewing with confidence, this Brazilian team, coming fresh off the back of a victory in the United States of America, taking top spot in the Long Beach Grand Slam just a couple of weeks ago now. That's a nice cross-court cut on the ball from John Hyden of the USA.
John Hyden knows the court so well. I used to train with John Hyden, and he's very meticulous about his training regimen, what he eats, and I really think that that's been key for his longevity. And look at the youngster Bourne ripping that ball right down the middle, giving the Brazilians a little medicine of their own.
That's given Bourne a real confidence boost. An 84-kilometer ace serve. Well, they are really belting the ball back and forth at each other, these two teams. Evandro tells the youngster Bourne, let me show you how to really hit the ball.
Yeah, and Bourne put up a really good block right there. The problem is that Evandro goes to another floor and just climbs the ladder to a place that he just can't reach.
Oh, beautiful shot from John Hyden. 43 years of age, he's in shape, he's focused. He's putting a lot of retired athletes to shame out there, Dane.
Yeah, and that's a beautiful finesse shot. A little rainbow to the corner. Evandro tried everything with those long limbs, but he still couldn't get his hand on that one.
Oh, no choice but to go over on two, but Evandro made it work. And Brazil back with the advantage of 7-6.
Nice play, recovering, giving his partner Evandro. Pedro put up Evandro with the option. He puts that ball away.
Oh, a shank of the ball on the serve receive from John Hyden. Frustrating.
You don't see John Hyden err that often, especially on serve receive. He makes it difficult to score points against him because he has an array of shots and he has spectacular ball control.
Good play from America. Good play from the boys in blue.
A lot of teams try to go away from John Hyden because of his meticulous shots, his detail, his attention to the detail, and he waits for that defender to make a move, and then he goes the opposite direction.
Oh, try Bourne. Blocking nicely at the net.
And that might be the combination for the United States to go to Pedro Salgado, and I think they'll have a little more success blocking him. Evandro is setting the ball really well right now, so there's no definitive one way to go or to approach playing this Brazilian team. You have to kind of try out certain things, see what's going to work on any given day.
Here is Evandro with service. Another nice touch of finesse at the net from John Hyden. There's a smile on his face, he enjoyed that one.
He got up quickly there, somehow beat Evandro to the ball and was able to get it to the ground.
Here is Hyden with service. Again, goes to Pedro. Pedro on the attack for Brazil. Oh, it's not the best of sets there from his partner Evandro, and that gives the United States of America a 10-9 lead, and in the lead for the first time in this opening sets.
As you saw, that ball came out nice perfectly from Evandro in terms of any spin on the ball, but his location was too far, and that one is a double contact. He spins that ball out, and if the ball's spinning, that is not a violation immediately, but it's an indicator that you did not contact that ball simultaneously. So that one got caught deep. Two tough sets for Evandro. One too tight, and the other one he throws it this time down the line, and that ball seems to be in. Point for Brazil.
An important point as we go into the technical timeout to just narrow the gap by one, the advantage to the USA rather than potentially three. That was a very valuable point score for Brazil.
And they needed to right the ship after giving away a couple of easy ones. Setting so difficult, and we see Evandro getting his fill of setting. He comes in here, here's his nice setup, plants his feet, sets that ball perfectly, and then that opens things up. That ball ends up out of bounds right there. I actually thought that ball had gone in, but that ball was clearly out of bounds, so it's going to be 11-10. The United States leading over Pedro and Evandro. So during this timeout, they're going to talk it over. Of course, Pedro and Evandro, they have to right the ship. They can't afford to give away easy points. And that's what they are doing with that setting, you know, the double contact and then the overset. They cannot afford to give the United States those types of errors, because they will capitalize every time.
Try Bourne on the attack for the USA. A little too deep. But they're claiming that there was a touch from the block of Evandro.
Didn't recognize the touch, so point Brazil, equalizer Brazil.
Why? I'm not sure why John Hyden's not challenging a touch.
Each team has the chance to get a challenge.
I'm not sure why.
That was really odd to me. I'm not sure why John Hyden did not challenge that. That's a big point right there.
Well, they pull it back. Good play. America doing exceptionally well to refocus after John Hyden. I'm sure he's aware that he's got 2 challenges per set.
Well, he asked the ref, do I have to challenge that? And the ref said yes. And maybe he's not understanding. He has 2 challenges per set. If his challenge is not successful, he loses one, then he would still retain one. But there's no reason that he would not challenge that last play. So a little confusion down there. You don't want to give away points, especially if you think that the call was incorrect. That's exactly what the challenge rule is in place for.
Oh, Evandro, one of those spectacular serves that brought him the FIVB World Tour Best Server of 2015. That's exactly why America will need to focus here, because if he gets his eye in, he can not only put 1 down, we've seen him put half a dozen down in a matter of seconds on tour. Here he goes again. Oh, what a great save from Bourne. Well, both teams struggling to gain position, going over on 2. A miscommunication between the Brazilians and, well, an unorthodox point. Not the best of play from both sides of the court, but America take the point and tie the scores.
Yeah, it was kind of, I call that a broken play. You know, it wasn't orthodox like a normal volleyball play, and then the confusion at the end. Evandro probably should have taken that. He calls to Pedro at the last second, and for the United States, that's exactly what you want to see, some miscommunication, some poor body language, and you want the Brazilians to start bickering at one another.
Oh, that's a good comeback shot from Pedro Solberg, 30-year-old out of Rio de Janeiro. The Dragon, they call him. And breathing fire down the USA to make amends for that miscommunication in the previous point. Service error. So a side switch with a total of 28 points on the board. 14 points all. Still could go either team's way. This first set evenly matched. Let's take you back to the pool play match, which the Brazilians lost to the United States of America. It went to 3 sets in just under an hour. Oh, Bourne. Brilliant joust at the net and finished it off.
Beautiful balance by Bourne, waiting at the net. The set from Evandro came right on top. Then look at this joust, pushing back and forth. And it ends up on the Brazilian side. Pedro tees it up, and a smart, very smart play by Bourne, just hitting it to the deep court. Pedro Salgado so hard to stop because he has a very sharp angle hit. And remember, Nick, he's got that no-look shot down the line. So those are completely different shots. You have to commit one way or the other, or you're not going to stop it.
Here's the big man with the service. Evandro goes to Bourne. Bourne does exceptionally well. Oh, but couldn't pick up after such a good serve receive from the young American.
Another tough serve by Evandro, and I'd have to say his serving game is on right now. It's not that he's getting a lot of aces, but he is getting the United States in all sorts of trouble.
Again, better control from the Americans. Oh, and again, nice little touch at the net from Bourne. That will help his confidence.
Bourne going up, selling it, and then going back down to the line. And remember, the biggest weakness for the Brazilians is defensively, when that back defender has to move. Evandro setting that ball to the moon, so high up in the air, but that's how Pedro Salgado likes it. He gives the blocker a lot of time to line up the hitter, but that time Pedro successful.
And here is Pedro Salgado with service for Brazil. 17-16 with the advantage here. An indecision from Bourne there. He wasn't sure that serve was long, but he gets the shot in very quickly and early. Wipes the ball off the arms and the block of Evandro to tie the scores at 17-all.
Surprising that these two teams have never met before this tournament here at the World Tour Finals. Of course, Bourne and Hyden winning in pool play early on, and that was 15-12 in the third set. So very equal teams, and we expect a battle here in this semifinal.
Massive shot and spike at the net from Evandro, 18-17. Quick side switch. We're right in the business end of this first set now. Could go either team's way.
Bourne, you can see the frustration. He thought he could have blocked that one. It was just a little bit too far off the net.
Here's Evandro with that big jump serve. Oh, Hyden with a great serve receive and attack, and a lovely touch of class at the net. Found a beautiful angle, and that could be the point that gives Brazil this opening set.
You need to stop the rally and go to the challenge for a football immediately after, not now.
Can you ask the ref if he touched the line now?
If it wasn't football, I will receive the information.
It was a football. I want to know if she saw it.
Immediately after, you need to challenge.
If she goes like this and you don't see it during the play, you still have to ask it.
Immediately after, you can challenge it. Immediately after.
I don't have to challenge it. I'm saying she went like this, but you didn't see it. I'm asking you to ask.
No, I cannot now.
You can't help
To support and
Let's go back.
can help you.
Put your
Refs can help you.
Go back.
if he
Tell me
hits the
why the
ball,
refs can't help you.
Papadopoulos from Greece. I'll tell you what, he is completely wrong right now, because John Hyden has a point. The referee that watches football threw up her flag. The head referee didn't see it. So John Hyden's asking him to ask the line judge if there was a football. He does not have to challenge that. He should just ask her if it happened. The ref is saying that John had to stop the play at that point and challenge the call, which is inaccurate. The ref should do the right thing, ask the line judge what happened if you saw a football, and make the right call. Because she put up the flag and the referee missed it.
As did the head judge.
Yeah,
Let's take another look at the replay here, Dave. America have called a timeout for those of you that are wondering why the play has stopped.
Here comes the, and let's watch the line judge. Okay, no flag goes up here. Let's see if any of the line judges indicate that there was a football. We don't see anything, and John Hyden was saying that he saw a flag go up. So that would be inaccurate. Definitely a foot fault. He has definitely hit the line there, but no flag did go up. John Hyden said he did see a flag go up, which was inaccurate.
Well, that's the second time in this first set that John Hyden should have called a challenge.
Well, but the ref would not let him challenge. He said he'd had to stop the play before that play ended.
Well, Bourne with all kinds of drama out on centre court here. Puts the point away. John Hyden is still not happy.
But Nick, that's the thing with the challenge rule. You have to challenge immediately. You have to stop the play, and that's what John Hyden did not do.
Set point for Brazil.
All the players still getting used to the new challenge system, but you must make the challenge immediately. Even if the rally goes on, you have to stop down if you see something that you would like to challenge.
Great shot from Hyden. 2019. Is there a chance that the Americans can salvage this first set? Second set point to Brazil here. All they need to do here, Brazil, is side out.
Timeout for Brazil, so they're kind of trying to ice the server a little bit there and maybe recompose themselves and get ready for this one time. But definitely a lot of back and forth, a little drama here in the first set, Nick. And I think John Hyden, for sure, he's got to verse himself a little more in the challenge rules, because early on when that touch happened, he didn't challenge that, which he could have challenged. And then with the foot fault, he thought he saw a flag go up indicating a fault, but no flag did go up because we have the luxury of seeing the replay. But then he didn't stop the play and challenge it, and those are big points. I mean, that could be 2 points going the United States way, and we're looking at an entirely different situation right here. So
on that first point, he was almost the first challenge that we thought he should have made. He was almost looking for a little bit of support and guidance from the referee, and the referee didn't want to give it. He didn't want to say, call a challenge then, John, for goodness sake. Stop shouting at me.
Right, like, are you going to challenge or not?
Exactly, and I think that you've called it perfectly, Dane. I think that John needs to work out how the challenge system can complement his game. Here we go. Can Brazil wrap up the first set? Evandro on the attack. Oh, and they nearly keep it up. Well, Bourne almost had the play of the opening set, but he's unsuccessful, and Brazil take the opener at 21-19. A spectacular first set, a dramatic first set. One of the American coaching staff just needs to have a little whisper in John Hyden's ear right now, because I agree with the Olympic champ here in the combox. 2 of those points could have been America's if he'd have played the challenge system.
Exactly, and if you don't know what your rights are within the challenge system, then obviously sometime an opportunity will pass its way by. There's some effort right there. He knew he had to go over, and it wasn't going to happen unless maybe he pulled off some sort of bicycle kick, but not to be for the United States. It'll be interesting. Can they recompose themselves after a lot of back and forth, a lot of talking with Papadopoulos of Greece, who I believe made some correct calls.
Yeah, no, he did well, held his own, kept the match going. The referee has done a good job here. Now let's put this in perspective. We've been talking about the Americans beating the Brazilians earlier in the competition in pool play. They lost the first set then and came back to win 2-1. They find themselves exactly the same position here, but in a slightly more stressy situation. Semi-finals, looking for a shot at the gold medal here in the FIVB World Tour Finals. Into the second set, John Hyden gets the action underway.
Oh, that's a sharp angle away from body hit by Evandro. High level of difficulty hitting that ball where he did. Check it out. There's the explosion and the jump from the 27-year-old Bourne trying to get a piece of that ball. But wow, that was an impressive hit.
Oh, and look at that service from Evandro. So much power and spin, top spin on the ball. It goes right into the net and then spins over the top of it.
Almost nothing you can do there because you are expecting this impact, then it clips the top of the net and completely stops. Very difficult to change direction and lunge forward and make that pass.
Line.
And that ball rolled down the line, is out of bounds by Bourne. Right now, the United States has to be very careful not to let this one get away. Bourne disappointed. You know, he's such a great athlete. He comes from an athletic family. His father, Peter, and Katie, both triathletes. His sister, a water polo player. His other sister, a soccer player. He's just an athlete. I've seen him do some pretty spectacular things out on the court. And he could be the future of United States volleyball. This team, Hyden and Bourne, almost made the Olympic Games. They came up short. They ended up the 3rd United States team behind Jake Gibb and Casey Patterson. So maybe 2020 is the year for Bourne.
Great block. Well, there's a clear indication of that focus and athleticism. He's only on his 5th season as well, Dane, on the FIVB World Tour. He's definitely the new kid on the block, and he's got a real master to guide him through those early experiences in the shape and form of John Hyden, now 43 years of age. Oh, no luck for the American as his serve hits the top of the net. 4-2 to Brazil.
In order to beat this Brazilian team, you kind of got to get under their skin. You got to get them bickering, a little agitated, maybe frustrated, a little uncomfortable, because Pedro Salgado is such a great player, and he thrives on emotion. He tries to get the crowd behind him. He's coming off what I guess you'd call a disappointing finish, that 9th place in Rio de Janeiro, after really making a strong run in 2008. Part of the FIVB Team of the Year with Harley, but they did not make the Olympic Games. And then in 2012, Pedro Salgado, as he puts a nice shot down the line, had a positive drug test that was later overturned because of inaccuracies, but it was too late. He had lost his partner in 2012, so it was a long road for him to get to the 2016 Olympics, and I know that he expected to bring home some jewelry and get on that podium.
Yeah, it was a tough story. Oh, well, the thought was there. If it had come off, it would have been a beautiful shot, but not so for Bourne. 6-3 now to Brazil.
Set a little bit inside, Bourne trying to go back to his line, but he takes his eye off the ball just for a moment, and that's all it takes, and it's a miss hit.
Let's not forget the Brazilians were 3rd in this competition last year in Florida, USA, taking the bronze medal. Also, just come off the back of a victory in Long Beach. And they've won one of the major series. It was an emphatic victory in Stade, Switzerland, taking the major there. So I'd say the only disappointment for this exciting team was the Olympic Games. Look at the speed on that serve, Dane. 93 kilometers per hour. You get a speeding ticket if you drive your car that quick around here.
That's coming with a lot of velocity. You have to be so prepared and ready as a defender. Pedro really putting the ball exactly where he wants. John Hyden in his angle, and he's seeing it early, Pedro is, and just going the opposite direction. You know, the fastest serve that I've ever seen on the beach was Kolodinsky from Russia, 114 kilometers per hour, but haven't seen that since. There's Bourne up at the net, and he stuffs Pedro straight down.
That's good news for Bourne. They were just starting to lose grip of this second set, but that takes the advantage of Brazil just to 2. Some good service here from the USA could get them back on track. Remember, they have to win this second set to stay in the match and take it to 3. Oh, well, we miss it, but it's an ace serve from the USA. Couldn't come at a more important point in this second set. Ace serve for John Hyden. Another great service from the American. There's Pedro on the attack. Oh, nearly there, Hyden.
Good move by John Hyden, getting a hand on that. Pedro Salgado, very hard to read. Sharp angle and high line. He's so efficient at hitting both that you kind of have to anticipate, maybe guess a little bit prior to him contacting the ball, because he is so accurate.
Here's Evandro focusing in on his big serve. Right into the net. Quick point return for the American duo of Bourne, who now takes service, and his partner, John Hyden. Over on 2 for Evandro, no problem at all.
Yeah, he made that look a little bit too easy, because when you're on the right side and you're right-handed, it's a little difficult to go over on 2, because you have to wait for that ball to cross your body and get to that right side of your body. But at 6'11", Evandro makes it look like easy work.
Good play again from Bourne.
It's been a game of aces. Brazil with 4 aces, the United States with 2 so far. And in the blocking category, the United States actually winning 3-1, which is surprising because we noted earlier the Brazilians, that's their expertise. 2 big-time blockers at the net, but they've only been able to manufacture just 1 block on this match.
The South Americans with a 2-point advantage at 10-8. Here's the big man, Evandro with service. 2 meters 11, 2 meters 10, 6 feet 11. Nice set from John Hyden. Bourne with a lovely touch shot, but Pedro Salgado reads it, as does Hyden in the defense for the USA. Oh, good play from John Hyden. Both teams playing the same shots at each other over the net.
Little roll shots, both defenders holding, being disciplined, running down the shot. There you see John Hyden, and then how about the back set by Bourne, putting the ball on perfect location, and that's what I'm talking about. The United States has got to frustrate Pedro Salgado if they're going to beat him. If he stays comfortable, confident, and gets the crowd behind him, they're in a lot of trouble.
Once again, effective going over on the second pass. Second touch of the ball for Evandro. Need to watch that, the Americans. Here's Pedro Solberg serving to Bourne. Set from Hyden. Bourne. Again, nice little touch shot. Rolls that ball off his hand. Nice.
Really smart play. Great side out by the United States. They go up, over, and cross court, and not even the 6'11" Evandro can get that. Not sure what he's talking about there.
Technical timeout with a total of 21 points on the board. Remember, each of the teams can call a timeout, 1 per team per set. There's a technical timeout at 21 points.
Well, when you hear us refer to side out, when the opposite team from the service team is receiving and they win the rally, that is considered a side out. Here in this case, United States serves Brazil. There's the pass, the set, and the hit. So that's a side out for Brazil. You don't have to side out on that first play. The rally can go on, but if the team receiving wins the rally, it's considered a side out. Look at the side out quote, exactly mirrored on both sides, 78%. So that's when receiving serve, the United States and Brazil are putting the ball away and siding out 78% of the time. You want to be around 80 or more, and that's usually good enough for a win. It'll be interesting to see those stats at the end of the match, who increases their percentage.
That's a good strike of the ball from Pedro, the Brazilian #1, 30-year-old out of Rio de Janeiro. Important to get that first point down coming off the technical timeout. Brazil now 2 clear and have 1 set to 0, which they took at 21-19. Evandro preparing for another big serve. Into the net, a quick point for the Americans. They're a little frustrated with the service errors. That's another statistic that we'll monitor carefully at the end of this match. Bourne this time for the USA. Good service.
A huge opportunity for the United States. A perfectly executed drop block by Bourne. He gets the ball up in the air, but then he's got to deal with the 6'11" Evandro, who gets over the net, stuffs it straight down. Frustration on the American side.
Pedro serves. John Hyden serve receive, and Hyden now on the attack. That's been one of his most prolific point scorers in this match so far. Nice little pokey at the net.
He's so good at that. He's a 2013 AVP Best Defensive Player. And they also won Team of the Year in 2015 on the AVP United States Domestic Tour. Bourne and John Hyden did. net violation by Bourne, and the frustration continues for the United States. They're still in striking distance, but they have to start cleaning things up right now, limit the unforced errors, and put a little pressure. Start playing with more of a sense of urgency.
And that urgency is clear to be seen on the score graphic. Brazil 2 clear, 1-0. The Americans must win the second set to take the match to 3 sets. Oh, that's too deep. Brazil are now 3 clear at 15-12.
Tough play right there. You can see frustration on the face of John Hyden and Bourne as they walk to the sideline, trailing by 3. Crowd starting to come out.
The stands are starting to fill slowly but surely in anticipation of the second semi-final, where the Olympic champions Alisson and Bruno will go up against the Canadian local heroes here, Schalk and Saxton. But the Americans are looking to try and get back into the match here in this opening semi. And the Americans on screen, Pedro Solberg closest to us, Evandro to the left of the screen there, starting to take control of the second set. The Americans need to come out having called this timeout with a view to just refocusing and replanning their game. This will be the point where they'll either make or break game, I'd say.
Yeah, and right now I would imagine John Hyden is telling Bourne, we have to step it up right now. We need to take a little more risk than we have been so far. 1-0 Brazil, and they're up 15-12 here in the second.
There's Evandro, serves deep to John Hyden. Hyden on the attack now for the USA. And goes down the line. That's exactly what the Americans needed to do, justifying the call for the timeout.
John Hyden just ripped that ball down the line. You know, he played for San Diego State University, where he was the MVP on the team all 4 years that he played, which is pretty incredible. An All-American, 2 years in college. This guy has always been a winner. He's always been a competitor.
Oh, that's a great shot from Pedro Solberg. No answers to that attack from the Brazilian. Good shot from Bourne.
They cannot afford to just exchange points, Nick, right now. They have to do something special. I expect John Hyden to try to rip this serve, but they need a big play, either a defensive play by John or a big block at the net by Nice
big serve from Hyden right down the middle of the two Brazilian players. Evandro spots the gap, far left side of the court, looking on. And 17-14 to Brazil. They can just trade side-outs now. And they will take the second set and the match and head to the finale. $100,000 US for the winner of today's final match. Oh, that was a difficult serve from Evandro. And Evandro's looming over the net there. No room to maneuver for Bourne.
That was an impressive block right there. Beautiful pass by Bourne on a difficult serve. He gets up and tries to put that ball away, and Evandro just swats it right back at him. That's some intimidation.
Now 4 clear Brazil. Evandro's mixing up his serve. Going for the jump float at the moment. Good shot from Bourne.
Here's that no-look that I'm talking about. I've been waiting to see Pedro do the no-look. Shoulders cross-court, looking like he's gonna bang it cross-court, and he just rips it right down the line, kind of suckers the block into jumping into the angle.
Oh, there is no luck for the USA at all. And the Americans know as well as we do that they need a good service run here.
This is a nice block. The ball ends up right on top of the net, bounces once, twice, it hits the antenna, and it goes wide. So last touch by the United States and out of bounds. Bourne making that little no-look down the line look easy. Better be careful. You know Evandro is going to make that adjustment. Not quite ready to push the panic button, but real close right here.
Now they're close. John Hyden would dearly love to pull off a service ace here. But it goes the opposite way. He went for it, credit where it's due with all the pressure on. But it was just a few centimeters too deep into the Brazilian court. And it is match ball for Evandro and Pedro Solberg. Evandro will really belt this one. Wow. And Evandro gets the middle. Oh, it's still up. The ball is still good. And Bourne finally puts it away. On 2 occasions, Brazil thought they'd done enough there.
That was some second and third effort right there by the United States. Look at that pass. Already in trouble. Evandro with another block. Bourne uses that left hand to keep it alive. Hyden goes over the net to live for another point, and then the United States somehow wins that rally.
Second match point for Brazil. Bourne with service for the USA. Pedro looks to finish it for South America. Oh, that ball was going out. Bourne over on 2. Good set for Pedro. Oh, and John Hyden takes a massive gamble going over on 1, but the gamble pays off. And they pick off another point, 18-20. Third match point for Brazil, but the Americans are still out there on center court.
What an incredible match point here. The ball is set outside. Here comes Pedro down the line. Hyden keeps it in play. And then look at here. John Hyden in the backcourt for the U.S. just puts up a hand out of nowhere. I don't think he was trying to go over the net. He was just in survival mode, reaction mode. And fortunately, that ball ends in bounds, surprises the Brazilians, and the United States will live to play another point.
Oh, the crowd loved it. We loved it. And John Hyden now just gathers his composure because he needs a few more. Great play from the Americans, battling for every point to try and stay in this match. They lost the first set to the Brazilians 21-19. If they can claw back and win this second and take it to 3, it could be a completely different story to what most are predicting right now.
Well, that would be miraculous. The cards are definitely stacked against the United States right here, trailing by 2, serving the ball to the Brazilians. But I'm with you, Nick. If the United States could win the second set, I think they would win the third. But it's a tall order to come back against 2 great players like Evandro and Pedro when they're going to have a couple of match points coming up.
It's exactly how they beat the Brazilians in the pool play last Wednesday. They lost the first, won the second and the third. Can they do it for a second time of asking? But today is semi-final and finals day. Playing for big stakes right now. Bourne serves. Pedro. Evandro sets for his partner. Bourne is there at the net.
That ball never cleared the net. There's going to be a challenge here. Bourne saying he did not touch that ball at all. So it's going to be very interesting if any part of the ball touched Bourne above the net.
I'm going to use
Okay, was there a block touch or not? That's the question.
If you see a touch, I'm going to challenge again and use both my challenges back to back.
Oh, there's a big touch. John Hyden said, I'm going to use both my challenges. He's going to be very angry once he sees this because it's clearly a touch on the block.
Block touch or not?
It's a block now.
It's a big touch. There's nothing really to argue there.
Successful challenge, Team
And the referee says enough is enough, no more challenges. And it is 21-18. Brazil defeat the United States of America 2-0. Evandro and Pedro, the winner of the last round on the FIVB World Tour in Long Beach a couple of weeks ago, go forward to the finale, the gold medal match. As for the Americans, Bourne and John Hyden, they will go into the bronze medal match and face the losers of the next semi-final coming up right after these short interviews. A frustrating match, more than anything for